Okay, so this is my sister, right? Who I will link on the title. But look, straight to the point. So,
Okay.
like 2 seconds ago, you can never get that back. Okay, the past is something that you can never get back. When you look at the past, you shouldn't feel sad or nervous about it. You should reflect on it in a good way. Don't be like, oh no, I made this mistake. Oh well, you can't change it. Okay,
Yeah.
I can't change my mistakes, and neither can you. Yes, you. You can't change your mistakes either. So you
Facts.
shouldn't focus on 2 seconds ago or 2 hours ago or 2 years ago because you're never gonna get those years back. It's impossible. Okay. Like for example, when you make a mistake, the point of making a mistake is to learn from it. The point of making a mistake is not to cry or get mad about it. It's to learn from it, so you don't make another mistake. Okay. When you make a mistake, it's like you use it as a ladder to climb up to success. You don't carry it on your back forever. You climb up on it like a ladder, literally like a ladder. Um,
So don't get it wrong when you know how, like he said, how people always just constantly feel like their identity is based upon their past. Your identity is not your past. And a lot of times you are not vulnerable enough to understand that you have to grow off that. Because a lot of people feel like their mistakes identify them now. Like, oh, now I'm just like crackheads. Like they're like, oh, I'm a crackhead, or oh, um, I'm a therapist, or oh, I'm like your identity should not be based upon just one thing, essentially.
okay, so I'm using an example like school, for example. So let's say like a report card came out, and on one like just like let's say you made straight A's, but you got like one F. You got to realize, why are you crying over something you cannot change? Okay, like oh, I got an F. Okay, who cares? You can't change it, so live with it. So okay,
Right.
this is what you should think. You should think, okay, I might have made this mistake, and this is using the school example. But okay, I might have made this mistake, but I know next time I can get a B, or next time I get an A,
Right.
or next time I get a higher grade. I'm like, oh, next time I get an F, I'm stupid. No.
And you can't be afraid to grow either, because a lot of people feel like once they make their mistake, like they can't come back or something. Like, just get a tutor, get a mentor. That's all you have to do, because sometimes like we can't fix our own problems. Sometimes someone has to come in. That's why you have doctors. When you have a sickness, you go and ask the doctor, like, what's going on with me, this and that. Tell me exactly what I need to be doing in order to come back from what I have been sick with.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Hold on, I lost my train of thought. Sometimes I do that.
Me too. Well, I mean, like, going into the past, I feel like definitely you can find a lot of answers as well. So in regards to that, sometimes for me, being in relationships or being in a lot of jobs, I have seen my strengths and my weaknesses. So going back sometimes into the past, you can bring yourself better into the future. So for example, when I was working at Low Down Popeyes, I was always getting mad of how it's so many customers. Like, I feel like I can't make up for, getting people their food or whenever they need it. And eventually, over time, I said, okay, well, what are some strategic ways that I can go about it so that I can be faster and more productive and get these people their food and get them out? Um, it was ways that I said, okay, well, let me do this a different way. So when it comes to that, that's those are your strategies. Like, find your strategies to help you get out of your past, like out of your weaknesses or your frustrations.
Yeah, like okay, you know how randomly you might feel sad or mad for some reason? It's
Mm-hmm.
just random. So, whenever you feel that, usually it's because of something in the past. Not always, but usually it's because of something in the past. So, whenever you feel like that, it's what's the point of that?
Right.
Like wow, you're getting sad over something that's already been happened before.
Mm-hmm.
That don't make sense.
It doesn't. So what would you say, like, for example, or what is a time that you have had and like you was thinking about your past like so much and you was just like, okay, like, I'm tired of it. Like, what was an example for you?
Um, uh, School. I had okay. A few years ago, I had problems with school. Right. Sometimes I would think about that, and that kind of let me down a lot. But I gotta realize I can't really get those moments back because it's impossible. It's impossible to go back in time. You can only go forward. You can't go back. So even though when I thought about those things and that made me really sad, I was stressing over something that I can't really control no more. So whenever
focus on what you can control.
Yeah, what she said, literally, like, focus on what you can control. Don't focus on what you cannot control. Focus on what you can control. Okay, you can change your future, but you can never change your past. Okay, you can always change your future, but you can't change your past because it's not possible to do that.
And like with the school thing, I remember like when we were younger and stuff, and how like you were going through those things that you were going through. So, you know, I was the witness to that. Like, oh, like, you know, he wasn't really focused on school. Like at the time, like he was really focused on the video games. So he learned that the video games are a distraction. Like you can't just put yourself in a predicament 24/7 and then think that, oh, I'm just gonna get better. Like no, like he put his effort and work into what he wanted to do, and now this dude got all A's. Like I wasn't even having all A's in school. Like I was the person to definitely get myself in like predicaments, like worry about my friends or worry about everything else other than my school. So what happened in my future? What happened in my future was I started thinking about my past so much about, oh, I didn't have good grades, and now I'm thinking about, can I even make it into college and be a therapist and have a bachelor's degree, because that's what I'm doing right now. And you know, it's definitely hard to think about, oh, what can I do, but it's definitely something that you have to put the effort in. We both put in effort. This didn't just come out of nowhere. It's something that you have to be consistent about. It's something that you have to really put your mind to, because if you don't, you'll stay in your past. Like no one wants to stay there, but a lot of people do. And the only reason is because the consistency is the only thing that's gonna get you. Okay? Like that's it.
One more example is like a person dying. Now, it could be a friend dying, like a close friend or a family member. Now, even though it sucks that somebody dies, it really does suck. But you can't really reflect on that, because you got to realize nobody can live an infinite amount of time. Nobody on earth, even Drake, even Drizzy, the sixth god himself, he's gonna die one day too.
Right.
I'm laughing, but it's true. He's gonna die one day. Everyone you know will eventually die. So when that time comes, you shouldn't be sad. If anything, you should be happy, because when a person dies, they don't gotta worry about bills. They don't have to worry about stress. They don't have to, especially if they're disabled. That's very big. If a person who has like a tumor or is like retarded, in a sense, if they die, they can be free of all that. When you die, you're at peace. That's what's called rest in peace, because you're at peace. So it does suck when a family member dies, but it's gonna happen one day. Right. Everybody you know will die one day.
They're gonna die. Okay.
So you shouldn't really cry over something that first of all, you can't really control that. Everybody knows they're gonna die, but no one knows exactly when or how they're gonna die. They don't know how they're gonna die, nor do they know when. So when that time comes, you shouldn't cry. It's pointless to cry over something you cannot control at all.
Right.
You can cry. Is it normal to cry? Of course, it's normal to cry. But you
gotta grieve. Like you have to go through that process, but you have to move through the process. You can't just stay in one spot. So when it comes to that, our dad, like recently, well, not recently. I'm in the past. I must be, because I said recently, but he passed away about like 2 years ago. And for me, like the experience that I had with it, I was like, well, he passed. Like I think I was definitely like avoiding. So I have like an avoidant style. So in regards to my life, like I avoid big issues, big problems. So when he passed away, I was like working. Like I'm talking about just working. Okay, and it was eventually like bottling up inside of me, and I was really avoiding the fact that he was gone. And it took a toll on me, because I didn't heal it when I needed to heal it. Like you have to definitely like be aware of when you're going through these situations and having to, you know, get to that extent. Like, okay, like there's something is going on with me. I have to fix this, because if I don't, I'm going to stay exactly where I'm at. And for at least about a year, like, I did not deal with my dad's death, like, whatsoever. Like, I was not talking about it. I wasn't trying to, like, anything. So, it's definitely, like, now I've came to terms with myself that I can't move forward unless I deal with all this stuff that was in the past. Like, you gotta do something about it. Like, y'all be wondering all day, like, why am I still in the same position? Like, I'm still wondering why I'm still in a corporate job, and it has nothing to do with anybody but me, because I'm staying there. I'm the one still trying to put myself in those situations. And it's like, you got to think about what can you do differently to get you into a different situation, and also putting effort towards it. And a lot of people do put effort towards things, and sometimes it doesn't seem like you're moving. It doesn't. But over time, like, if you really put in that consistent work in, you'll see the difference. Like, I know a lot of times we feel like we're not doing anything about life. Like, you know, you go to work every day. Okay, but you're still paying your bills. Like, it's not like you sit out here, like, not doing nothing with your life, you know? So, definitely pay attention to your consistency. If you ain't got no consistency, you just in the past. Like, you just there.
Yeah, also, another thing, when you focus on the past, your future doesn't build it because you're so stuck in the past.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a future to happen with anything, it can be anything at all. But if you want any type of future to happen, you cannot constantly live in the past 24/7. You're living in the past, knocking on the door rent free. You literally, there's the future is right next door, but you keep coming
right
back.
Here, bro.
You coming back. You coming
back there.
You coming back. You coming back. You keep coming back to the past over and over and over again. The future is literally right here.
Right there.
You'd be like, but no,
hey.
you focus on the past. Stop focusing on something that's already been happened and focus on the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For example, a random person watches the video. Yes, you could be a millionaire right now, but you might be focusing way too much on the past. Like, for example, for example, 9/11, right? Let's say you had 10 family members that were on 9/11, one of the planes, and they all died. Now, of course, that's very sad. 10 family members at once. 10 family members dying at once, that can be pretty sad.
People die in threes, like, they be talking about that, like, it's a phrase that they say, like, oh, people die in threes and stuff.
Yeah, but 10 people dying at once, that can make a person very, very sad.
That's traumatizing.
But still, it was gonna happen one day. Would it was going to. Would it have been that traumatic? Maybe
Definitely.
not. Maybe not. But still, it was gonna happen. Now,
Right.
Would that make somebody cry? Of course that would make somebody cry. 10 family members dying at once, that's sad.
What you think?
But still, you cannot reflect on that, man. The creator might have want to make you a millionaire, but you like, oh, I gotta go grieve by her. I gotta go grieve by him. I gotta go grieve by her.
When you supposed to be getting this money?
Yeah, or anything. Not necessarily money.
Not getting this money, right? But
so it's stupid. Don't focus on something that's already been happening.
Mm-hmm.
If you did lose a family member to 9/11, if this video gets like 1 million views, well, it's sad, but it was gonna happen one day. You need to stop focusing on that and focus in the future, so you can be successful. Whatever.
Present, future, you know.
Yeah, the present
determines.
The present and the future. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can focus on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah. Thanks.
But yeah, so I definitely feel like the world is starting to realize that they have been like asleep. Like, I've realized that I was asleep. He probably realized he was asleep. Everyone like just is going through that process, and not just because of COVID, but that was a huge thing that everyone was like, oh, okay, like, now I gotta get better, like, now I gotta do this. And see, a lot of times, like, change doesn't happen until like something big happens. Like, I've noticed that over time. So, for example, you might be going through life and thinking like nothing's going on, then boom, all of a sudden you get hit with an illness or a sickness. Now you're like, oh, what have I been doing all my life? Like,
but you gotta keep going forward.
Yeah, like, you were never like conscious, like you were never paying attention to what was really going on. And that's where the consistency comes in, because you gotta be consistent. If not, it's just, you're gonna die. And you're gonna die anyway, but I mean, at least die a good way, like, leave something to remember.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, I think I ran out of things to say.
Me too.
Alright, so this is first collab. Even though it was with a family member, it still counts as a collab though. But yeah. So first collab, okay? So hopefully more collabs will come in the future.
Hopefully. And when I start getting on my stuff better and start going into the future, I'll put him on my videos and y'all could watch both of us, grow, help y'all grow, and while we grow at the same time. So.
Okay, you gonna stop recording?
Nah.
No.
I'm just playing. Okay, goodbye.